Thank you for joining, everyone. My name is Alex Bralo. I'm on the marketing team here at Paradium. Today, we will be presenting a webinar focused on the Paradium Experience Cloud for service providers. The presentation, which is titled Creating Market-Leading Mobile Experiences, will cover the various ways that Paradium enables mobile operators, MVNOs, MVNEs, and other service providers to differentiate their offerings. Our presenter today is Bart Weijermars. He is the CEO at Paradium. And before I hand it off to Bart, I would like to take care of some quick housekeeping. The presentation should take approximately 30 minutes, with time set aside at the end for questions. To avoid technical issues, we will not be answering questions during the presentation. So if you have a question for Bart, please enter it in the question box and he will answer it at the end of the session. If your question goes unanswered during the webinar, we will save it, forward it to one of our team members, and they will reach out to you directly with an answer. And so with that, I would like to thank you and hand it over to Bart.
Thank you, Alex, and good day, everybody. This is Bart Weijermars. Welcome to our webinar on creating market-leading mobile experiences with the Pareteum Experience Cloud. Before we get into it, maybe it's good to explain some of the terms used for those who are less familiar. We will be talking about MVNOs, which stands for Mobile Virtual Network Operators. Essentially, someone that is offering mobile services to its own customers under its own brand and with services it can determine itself. So it's a term commonly used in the telecom market. Today, with technology that is developing rapidly, we see this broader. Any organization that wants to offer mobile services or wants to use mobile connectivity in its business processes can use cloud-enabled mobile communication services. And that is exactly what we enable. But when does it make sense to offer these types of services? It only really makes sense if you can address customers' needs that are currently not addressed. So differentiation is key. Traditionally, the ones that have been successful in this market had either a strong brand and customer base or strong distribution channels. Now, with online channels, this has become different. It has become much easier to address specific niches and to connect with your target audience directly. And therefore, the opportunity for MVNOs has never been bigger. Some examples, I think it's a common problem for mobile operators or carriers to develop offerings that appeal to a small niche or a specific niche. And since they are focused on larger customer bases, they generally compromise in terms of their offerings. They're generic services. They don't necessarily always have the pricing flexibility that customer segments require. And their branding obviously is appealing for a large base, but not necessarily for specific groups of customers. And therefore, we see that there's many MVNOs that can dive into this opportunity, where they offer much more tailored services and are much more flexible in their offering. And the Pareteum Experience Cloud is developed to help you differentiate and to have a very short time to market, which is obviously key in this rapidly evolving market. Where we see a lot of traction in the market currently is in, for example, internet service providers or broadband providers are expanding their offering with mobility. And if you look, for example, at business-to-business providers, the integration of fixed and mobile services, but also, for example, in combining mobility with other services. I think a good example, for example, is one of our customers that recently launched To The Moon Mobile in the UK, that is combining fintech services with mobile services. Definitely worth taking a look at their website. But also, for example, connecting devices and special purpose hardware onto the internet. Obviously, that is a segment that is growing rapidly. but also tailored business to consumer services. And a lot of times this is focused on large volume customers, especially on the lower end of the market. And these are the segments that mobile operators tend to be less successful in. Now, if we focus a little bit more on Pareteum Experience Cloud solution, it really enables you to launch your own mobility service, and whatever the technical setup, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But also for existing providers or existing MVNOs, we can help extend into new markets and territories. And as we have built this as a cloud solution, there's very little investment required on your side in terms of the technology. We provide a running platform where you can focus on making the difference to your customers. And really, there are two major components to how we make that very easy for you. One being the comprehensive service and product management, and the second being the Pareteum Smart Network. Our service and product management capabilities give you full control on your mobility offering. The products and services you want to create completely configurable. The information and interaction possibilities that are available to you and your customers, and how you want to make that fit with your specific customer base. And all of the tools you need to serve your customers in the best possible way. And that's available through either a portal-based solution or through APIs. And with these APIs, obviously, you can connect your own applications to our platform to enable the services that you want to offer to your customers. But also critically important, obviously, is to give you insight into usage and other relevant parameters. And that's all available to you at your fingertips. All services are configurable at the end user level, and that allows you to differentiate and give the best possible experience to your customers. And here you can see some of the examples in the screen. Next to the product and service management, a big key component is obviously connectivity. And here the unique offering of the Pareteum Smart Network is really incomparable to any other offering. You have unified access to global cellular and Wi-Fi networks, and the ability to use both of them at the same time, where the intelligent network selection makes sure you have unbeatable performance and the best possible cost level. And I think this is something that is unique in the market. Our connectivity is really global, and our Wi-Fi has a global coverage with over 60 million locations, as well as Wi-Fi in aircraft of over 40 leading airlines. And by using Wi-Fi in combination with the cellular network, you create the best connectivity experience for your customers, but also the lowest possible cost. Next to the products and service management and the smart network, there are obviously many other components of the Pareteum Experience Cloud that will help you to define and run your mobile service offering. Obvious ones include billing and CRM, but also specific functionality to deliver IoT connectivity, for example. And here on the slide, you see the different elements that are part of the solution. So really the key question for you is how you leverage all of these capabilities to create an exciting offering for your customers, and how that sets you apart from the competition. And that's all very easy in a cloud solution that we deliver. Now we've spoken about some of the functionalities that help you differentiate in the market. If we look at the technical components of an MVNO solution, There are also differences in what can be controlled in order to deliver differentiated services. Oftentimes then people speak about MVNOs and light MVNOs or full MVNOs. Really the difference lies in which parts of the network systems are managed independently from the mobile operator. And with the Pareteum platform, you can not only have the pricing and branding independence necessary to make appealing offerings, but you can also have control over the more technical parts of the network, such as the core network, rating and billing, etc. And in this diagram, you can see that from the different elements of the service, being customer care, rating and billing, applications and services, or core network, whatever your choice is of where you want to control the solution, we can provide that. Obviously, the radio access part is the part that is always provided by mobile operators, but that's where we have the connectivity agreements to make it very easy for you to connect to any network in the world. Let's just give you an example of how this solution is being used by some of the larger customers in the world. One great example of what can be achieved by leveraging the Pareteum Experience Cloud is the Lowi MVNO, which is a brand of Vodafone in Spain. And here they have been using our platform already for many years, but Lowi has been chosen the most popular MVNO for 3 consecutive years. And it's a low-cost provider offering mobile services, but also broadband connectivity. And actually, all of these services are combined and are being managed through the Pareteum Experience Cloud. What makes them unique is that they don't offer just mobile and broadband services, but also the way that they've created their plans for their customers are not like traditional predefined plans, but they really give their customers the possibility to determine their own plan and to configure those on the website, and that's then automatically configured in the platform as well. And that way they create full flexibility for their users and a high customer satisfaction. And that really has helped Lowi a lot. Just to compare, let's say, the situation before, for Vodafone, it was very difficult to launch differentiated offerings in the market, even for their own brands. And they really lacked a solution that would enable them to acquire and retain new customers, also on MVNO, to acquire MVNOs themselves. And with the platform, they are now able to serve more than 1.5 million subscribers, and they are one of the fastest growing service providers with the Lowi brand. Obviously, this is a great way to expand their own brand, their own second brand, and offer new products and promotions, and the time to market is extremely fast. The customer management service is very flexible and robust enough to handle their unique configurable rate offering. And I think that's just an example of what the platform enables you to do and how you can make a difference in the market. But even if you're already offering mobile services, we can help you to create an even better experience for your customers by adding some of the functionality from our platform. One great example is the use of our smart network, for example, for Wi-Fi offload. Cellular networks obviously are available everywhere outside, but we also know that the connectivity experience indoors is not always great, and this is where Wi-Fi offload can be a great way to improve customer experience on the connectivity side. But also by offloading some of the cellular data on Wi-Fi, you can actually be more cost competitive and be more attractive in the market. And this is a very efficient way to create value-added services for your customers. But also by adding, for example, innovative IoT offerings. Our platforms allow you to create specific IoT services with specific management of those SIMs or eSIMs, and that allow you to do specific offerings in specific markets, such as tracking of vehicles and shipments, or adding connectivity to all kinds of devices, such as meters and streetlights, for example. But we've also helped service providers and other businesses to really add value in the customer interaction. We have a great range of products in the contact center area, for example, with live chat and contact center, but also with programmable interactive voice. And as I already mentioned, the Wi-Fi Smart Connect, which allows you to intelligently manage connectivity between cellular and Wi-Fi. So really, in summary, we've made it extremely easy and simple to create your own mobile offering and be able to be successful in the market. Our cloud offering allows you to launch quickly with no investment in hardware and systems. And we've done this successfully globally for mobile operators, for MVNOs, and others that want to create their own mobile offering and want a piece of this huge telecom cake. We are the only one that are really offering global cellular and Wi-Fi footprint. And I think that's a unique opportunity for you to differentiate in the market. So really look forward to hearing from you and how we can help you in answering your questions.
Hi, Bart. So we have a question from Rob, who asks, what differentiates Paradium and Twilio? And are you competing for the same types of clients? And how are we standing up to competition?
Yes, that's a great question. Well, I think that they're not really comparable offerings at all. Our offerings is very much focused on global connectivity and a platform that allows you to offer mobility services to your own customer base and to create your own mobile offerings. There are some services that are overlapping, but I think that the ability to manage your own brand, to manage your own offering, and to create your own mobile brand is really something that's different from what I've seen with others. And I think key here, as I mentioned, is also the ability to have the combination of the cellular network and Wi-Fi networks and other networks as well. As we mentioned with Lowi, for example, we're also managing the broadband services. So any type of network connectivity really can be managed from the platform.
So we have another question from Drew, who asks a question about the MVNO, MNO industry landscape. It seems that there is a wave of consolidation in the US, consumer, cellular, bluegrass, telco, et al.
Yes, well, let's see. I've seen, let's say, indeed lately that there's been a lot of consolidation, or at least a lot of M&A activity in the US MVNO market. And we've seen that in some other markets as well. I think this is something that comes and goes in waves, and we've seen that in other markets as well. Consolidation takes place so that you get larger players in the market. Sometimes these are eventually then acquired by large operators. But we also see that in many markets, new players start business. And they start business in different areas. Like business to business is a very strongly growing segment where we see the integration of their fixed offering and fixed internet offerings and fixed voice offerings with mobility. So that's definitely a new market segment. And obviously, all of the connectivity related to Internet of Things and connecting all kinds of devices is where we see lots of new players entering the market. So yes, there's consolidation on some of the more traditional services, but we also see a lot of new players in different niches and new market segments.
We have another question from Josh, who asks, has your MVNE offering been able to make inroads with larger players like Mint Mobile or Xfinity Mobile, or is the offering mostly attractive to smaller disruptors with less capital, such as Wing Mobile?
Well, the ones that you're specifically mentioning are not currently customers of ours, but our solution has attracted large players. I've already mentioned Vodafone, obviously, but we also have some of the mobile operators in Belgium as customers, actually all mobile operators in Belgium. And one in Singapore is another example of a large operator in the Asian market that's using our platform. So there's definitely also large operators and other players that are using our platform.
We've got one more question from Drew, who asks that the presenter mentioned your highly differentiated MVNO client in the UK. Would you mention its name again? Also, are there any other examples of highly differentiated MVNOs that you can share?
Well, the name of the customer in the UK is To The Moon Mobile. You can find them on the internet. I don't know the exact web address from the top of my head. And that's the one that I can share currently.
We have another question from Rob, who asks, what is the implementation process like, and how has COVID-19 impacted Paradium's implementations?
Yeah, it's obviously dependent a bit on the requirements of the customers, but as this is a cloud solution, most customers can be live in a 4 to 6 week period. You know, that doesn't really is not really impacted by COVID as such, as you know, this is a cloud solution, so it's really a configuration to make sure that you can actually use the services in the way that you want to offer it to your customers.
So we have another question from Thomas, who asks, what are the technical, operational, and commercial prerequisites a prospect needs to have for being a viable opportunity that can be closed and rolled out in due time?
Well, I think that the key thing is, first of all, to have a solid, let's say, business plan and understanding of how you want to get to your customer base and the customer base that you want to address. So it's really about understanding how you can acquire your target customers. I think that is key. There's not many technical requirements. Most of our customers build their own e-commerce environment for online sales and connect that to our platform. And that's probably something that you want to have within your control, because that's really driving your sales and marketing, and that probably also differentiates to some extent in the market. So most of our customers do that part in-house, or they outsource that to a specialized e-commerce party, and leave all of the other elements to the Pareteum cloud platform. Obviously, customer support is then something that you would need to arrange yourselves, assuming that you want to do that yourselves and want to take care of your customers. But we provide you the tools to help you with your customer service and to give you the insight, obviously, in everything you need to know to serve your customers in the best possible way.
So we have a question from James, who asks, will Vodafone expand your service to other countries? Are there other customers using more of your products than before?
Well, I cannot specifically answer on Vodafone. But yes, we have customers that are using multiple services. Telenet in Belgium is a good example where they are not just using our cloud platform, but also our IoT offering, and we also cooperate with them on the Wi-Fi side, for example.
So we have another question from Drew, who asks, what prevents a differentiated US-based MVNO from rolling out its offering in, say, the UK or Singapore? And have you taken a US MVNO client to another market?
I don't think there's anything that stops anybody to move into to other markets other than their own ability to sell in these markets. We have customers that we've taken into multiple markets as well. So that's definitely something that is possible, and there's multiple customers that are planning to do that in the coming period as well.
Bruno asks, how can I contact to get cost information?
Sales@pareteum.com, and we'll connect with you, or info@pareteum.com, and we'll definitely get in touch with you.
So we have a question from Kingsley, who asks, does your platform allow multi-tenants?
Definitely, the platform setup is made in a way that it, all of it is based on multi-tenant. So that is actually the core of the possibilities of the platform.
So we have another question here that asks, when launching your own MVNO, does Paradium provide a contact to purchase mobile devices and SIM cards, or is that something they would have to find on their own?
SIM cards are definitely part of the service that we help, and we can buy them for you, or you can buy them, and we'll support you in getting the right specifications for that. Handsets is something that we leave to the MVNOs themselves, as this is a market that is different from country to country, but also with very specific players that can be better support in there.
A question from Carl, who asks, do you see Google's Orion as a competitor in Wi-Fi or a partner?
Sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
Do you see Google's Orion as a competitor in Wi-Fi or a partner?
Well, I guess both, but I see that more as a partner than as a competitor necessarily.
All right, so that's all the questions that we have right now. Thanks, Bart. If we missed any questions, or if any questions come in later, don't worry. We've saved them all, and we will have somebody on our team reach out with an answer. Otherwise, of course, viewers can feel free to reach out to us via our website or your personal Paradium contact. Also, we've recorded today's session, so if you'd like to review it or send it to a colleague, be on the lookout for an email with the link. If you don't receive the email, you'll be able to find the recording on our blog or YouTube. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone once again for joining, and wish you all a great Wednesday.